All right. So today what we're going to look at is how to create drop-down boxes. We're going to look at two things. I'm going to divide this up into two different videos. First one, we're just going to use strings and we're going to create strings and get them back and forth. Because basically if you can get a string, you can use it for whatever you want. Then after that, we're going to create, in the second video, we're going to look at actually creating objects in our drop-down boxes that will actually return an object of something. So like, if you wanted to create a drop-down boxes of some of your different buildings or your people or whatever you wanted to do. Instead of it just being a string and having search from it, it would actually be the actual object. So we'll look at how that works. Just kind of give you an idea, by the end of the second video, we're going to kind of have this my cats thing created. It'll be kind of cool. Basically what it does is it gets the cat and it tells you what breed it is. And so, like tigers are a red tabby, whenever it does rainbow, she's a calico, which I know isn't a breed, but whatever. And then Stormy's an American shorttail. And then Rasputin's a Tonkinese. So that's kind of what we're going to do, but we're going to start out a little simpler than that and just start out with strings at first. What I'm going to do is right here, I have this this frame already created. You're going to start out creating your frames like you normally do. Drop-down boxes are just another component, nothing fancy about them. So I created the my cat's header, and then I got this label down here. I extended it just so it can be centered a little better. And then actually, you know what? We're going to go and change these properties, and instead of center, there we go. That'll make it look a little better. Sorry. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to where it has everything, and you'll notice that it has, where did it go? It has combo box. So that's what we're going to get right there is what we want it to be, is we want to call it a combo box. So we're going to drag the combo box over onto our thing over here. And you notice that it starts out by having item 1 there. So we're going to go into properties. And the first thing you should always do is change the name of it. So we're going to call it our cats container. Or, we'll just call it our cats list. That'll work just fine. One thing to pay attention to is this type parameter string right here. We're going to change that later on. And then in the properties, one of the things to notice where it says model, it's got item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. This is where you can pre-populate your box if you know that you have more than just a couple of items. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and add in item 5. The next thing is, notice where it says maximum row count 8. This means whenever you drop it down, how many items are going to be visible without scrolling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 4 just so we can kind of see what it does. And we're not really going to do anything else. There's other items in here if you wanted to. You could change what it starts selected at, what index it starts at. I'll let you play around with that, whatever you want to do. We're just going to stick with this for now. So we're going to hit close. And then I'm not going to really do anything else. I just kind of want to show you how the box works. So we're going to go and run it. And I really need to change the size of this, but that's okay. So you notice how it says item 1 here. Whenever we scroll it, notice how it doesn't display item 5 right there. It only displays 4 of the 5 items since we changed it to 4. So now we're going to do this, and now I'm going to go ahead and change the properties of this frame, though, to fit, what is that, 400 by 300? Okay. All right. That should look a little better, I would think. Yeah, it looks okay. All right. We'll go with that. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here to properties, and we're going to change this to 5. And so just kind of where I'm sure you guys are all sitting on the edge of your seat, wondering, oh my goodness, look at that. It shows 5 items now. If you changed it to 6, 7, 8, whatever, it would just kind of start adding and show more items as you actually do them. So the other thing that's nice about this is if you go into the source code, if you don't know what items you want to add, or you're going to start out with these core, but there may be more items that you want to add, you can actually add items to it. And the way you would do this is, so we called it cats list. And if you hit the dot button, you come up with something. And notice how it says in here, add, you don't want to add component. You want to add item, where it says string. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to put another string, and we're going to say item 6. You can do these at any time. Doing them in the constructor is fine. Just make sure that it's after the init component's there. And so now whenever we run this, you'll notice that it has the 5 items, but if we scroll down, it now has 6. So we can fix that if we want to and change this. And I'm going to go and bump this back up to 8, just so you can see what it does whenever you have more room for more. It only goes down to the last item, but there's no scroll bar. So again, that's kind of one of those little preferences things that you can kind of do. So now what we want to do is whatever item we select in here, we want to populate in here with this label right here. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and if you double click on this, it creates a action performed item. And then we need to change the variable name to this, because again, if you're going to use it, you should always change the variable names, and we'll call it, and I'm kind of naming some of these things for the next video, so if it's not quite sitting, that's why. All right, so now what we want to do is every time we select one, we want to go ahead and change its text. So we're going to do cat breed set text, and it's going to set it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do cats list dot let's see here, it's get selected item. There we go. And that'll kind of populate it in there, and we'll be able to do just fine. So now whenever we click on this, and then we're going to select item 4, and we get a nice little error. Reason why is because I want you guys to see something, that whenever you get selected, notice how it returns an object. All right, it doesn't return a string, it returns an object. There's really no way to change this. As far as I tell, I can't find another method that would return whatever you selected. So one of the things you're going to need to do is you're going to need to typecast these items that you get out to whatever item it should be. So in this case, we're going to typecast it to a string. Now, whenever we run this, and now whenever we select item 5, now it displays item 5 on there. Just kind of like the way we wanted it to, and it'll work just great. Yay! All right. One other thing we'll notice is that whenever we first load it up, it has JLabel 2 on there because I never bothered to change that text. What you can do is inside the constructor is we can go ahead and just put this as the last line of code that's on there. So that this way, whenever it first loads up, it selects whatever item is initially selected on there. If you want that, you may not. But if you don't, I would suggest that you don't have blank labels and stuff on there. So this kind of just addresses the basics of how to use a drop-down box, shows how you can add items to it. It shows how you can get items back out, how to use that information. Because remember, if you can return the information, you can store it, and you can use it for other things. So I'm going to go and stop this video here, and then we're going to pick back up right on this, but we're going to be using a object instead, and how to actually use it to reference objects and return those references. So again, if you like what you see, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos on I can't even make that sound exciting. Never mind. All right. See you later.